When one embarks on a journey to Antigua, Guatemala, it can be an awakening experience. The cobbled streets, the colonial architecture of this quaint city are filled with history and culture, making it perfect for expats to start a new life. For those looking for a chance to reinvent themselves, there's no better place. The people of Guatemala are known for their warmth and hospitality, and moving to Antigua can be a great way to immerse oneself in the culture. From the vibrant markets with handcrafted goods to traditional cuisine, it's easy to find what you need in order to make this city your home, and in order to find some sense of purpose in life. The best part about starting over in Antigua is the opportunity to thrive. Whether it's learning a new language, pursuing a passion project, or building relationships with locals, the possibilities are endless. Can you tell us a little bit about Coffee Shack?
This Coffee Shack is located in an old house in Antigua that's probably, I think, over 50 years old. It's a social enterprise that we started basically about 10 years ago in Honduras. I kind of grew up in a church environment with my family doing mission trips. And so going to Mexico and to other parts of the world, lived in Italy for a while as well, studied architecture, just seeing other cultures and other languages, and just seeing that there's normal people everywhere in the world, and that I was living in a bubble in Texas, and I just need to open my eyes. And that kind of was the premise of like, hey, I can do something more. I can help a lot of people with just the education that I was privileged to have. I think we all have purposes. I believe God created us to have a purpose. And so, I took that as my tools after my education in architecture and engineering, and took that to a different country that has a lack of basic things, water, housing, but there's great coffee as well. So that, they have a great product, great resources here. Let's put it to use, in a strategic way that will help your country, and not make something political about it. Let's just do it. And so that was the premise of leaving 20 years ago. To give my life for a bigger purpose. My first stint as practicing, and once I got licensed and all that, was working for a large developer, doing these large homes and hotels, embassy suites around the world. Great opportunity as a young architect to get some great work, right? But it was people. I realized that, man, I was made for people. I think we all are made for people, and I really was bent more as an extrovert. I just needed to be in people's lives, and so sitting behind a computer drawing or whatever it was just not. It helped me. It helped me propel me into another level in professionally, but it wasn't. I didn't have ownership of it. So when I started doing developmental work, I worked with orphanages first, but then we started doing more community-based stuff. And so I was seeing a really cool thread of like, hey, if we could just start some give back, like repair a roof or just get in these people's lives. And so when I started doing that, like in 2008, I started going to these homes, right? You're in this community that they don't have water, they don't have clean water, nor do they have, a lot of times they don't have ways to store it. And so this was common. I was seeing this repetitively. Every community I would go to around the city, especially in the urban setting, that's where I started, it was just, this was the case. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So they have those that have water, you walk in a house and there's like 20 buckets full of water that they brought in from the river, or they went down the street the government put a little hose bib there for them to get some water. So they carry the buckets back to their house and they use that water, but then it's not treated. So that's another issue. So then you have a lot of issues with malnutrition, and then you have just sustainable health. It doesn't exist in these cultures because they're drinking this water, and for it to be pure, they have to boil it, right, for a certain amount of time. And a lot of people just didn't want to take time to do that. So a lot of sick kids, just all those things. I was seeing more and more of that. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I connected with a guy and basically started with a relationship, right, how it all starts. And he connected me with these great filters that we use, and they just tie to a bucket, and then it's just real basic. You put the dirty water in, it gravity fed, goes through, and it comes out pure.
Yeah, I want to just quick conversation about. I mean, I have my own existential crisis going on right now, where I have this 9 to 5 in tech, and I feel like I'm living a lie. And I'm hoping this project will help me find like a deeper purpose, especially connecting with different cultures.
Gotcha.
Do you have any advice for people that or maybe we're in a job they don't really love or believe in and want to look for a deeper purpose?
So when you plan your vacations every year, plan it to come down to places like this and actually stay, not just a week at the beach, but come to places, a town, and try to meet people, make relationships. Because I tell you, that for me changed everything for me in Italy, because a lot of my buddies were backpacking and going all around Europe, and I did a little bit of that. But then all these churches began to look the same, and the pictures began to look the same. I'm like, listen, I just had a heart to meet the people. And so my last 3 months there, I just spent in Italy, and I just met families all over the country, went bowling, and it changed everything for me, because it was like, these are normal people, they're beautiful, they have great wine. I could see myself living here, and there's just such beauty in these places, right? And when you have a cap on your head like you do with tech, or like I do as an architect, these cultures down here that are developmental, third world they call them, it goes real far. You can do a lot of change and a lot of good for people with little effort, and it's amazing. It's amazing to me, and so that's something I really encourage you to take time, maybe next year, in the next couple of years, when you do vacation, plan it more of a stint, like do a month and live with a family and learn Spanish, and really go deep. Still using your gifts, of course, but try that out.
Yeah,
see what happens.
I gotta try that out.
That's kind of the next step, because that's, for me, I was sitting behind a computer as well, and it's like, this is all right. This is cool. I'm designing this cool house. It's really beautiful, but this is not me. This is not me. That was, for me, it was the internal war, right? And so I had, being married, I had my wife that really just punching me like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about that? Right? So it helped me.
Support. Support, which is very helpful.
Good support. Good punches.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about like technology and sitting in front of a computer that really like takes you away from, I feel like, the world, right? You mentioned being a people person.
Yeah.
I myself feel like a people person, especially with the pandemic.
Right.
Been easier to be disconnected from people just because you're in front of the screen.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.